You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and the Restless fans, we have got exciting new spoilers for next week, including what happens when Jack Abbott is taken by surprise, and Daniel Romalotti is making a new move in his life, and Amy Lewis is holding her breath as she gets an update on her illness. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got some brand new and sizzling Y&R spoilers for the week of April 21st through the 25th, which is the beginning of May sweeps late next week. And hey, if you're not already following us, please hit that subscribe button. So let's get into it with spoilers for Jack, Daniel, and also Amy. Let's start with Damian Kane's mom. As this week ends, we've got Amy chatting with Lily at Crimson Lights, and it makes sense actually that Amy and Lily have lots in common given the cancer. Amy is going through treatment for leukemia, which is a form of blood cancer, if you didn't know. And if you remember Lily's medical history, it's like 15 years ago, I think, she had ovarian cancer and she went through chemo and she had to have a hysterectomy. And that's why her twins were born via surrogate. So Amy and Lily are talking about Amy's cancer treatment and her having dinner with her old friend Traci Abbott. And as they talk, Amy's telling Lily she hopes she'll give Damian the benefit of the doubt. And Lily wants to, but she does have some questions that are pretty heavy. Amy insists that Damian's heart is true and that he's a good person. However, Amy is also not going to intervene to ask anything about her son and this Dumas guy, despite Lily's concern and her kind of hinting that direction. You know, Amy isn't going to put their mother-son relationship at risk because things are going very well for them now. Amy and Lily both want Damian to be a man they can trust, and they worry that Dumas may have corrupted Damian. And they talk about how they want him to have his eyes open about his boss. However, Nate wants to make sure Lily keeps an open mind about Damian because he has faith in his brother, and Lily insists that she is. So we'll see how Damian's affected by the news that comes next week, because Young and the Restless spoilers have Amy and Damian over at Nate's place, and he's got news for them about Amy's progress in her cancer battle. And it turns out Nate just got off the phone with Dr. Kelly, the oncologist from Chicago. So Nate has an update on how Amy's treatment is progressing. I will say it looks like it could be good news, judging by the look on Nate's face. And I certainly hope it is, but since we're heading into sweeps, they could have Amy taking a turn for the worse, only to improve later. I definitely hope her improvement lasts because I love Valarie Pettiford on Young and the Restless. She is such a great actress. All right, now let's talk about Daniel Romalotti spoilers and how he is planning a big move of sorts. It has been a hot minute since we saw Michael Graziadei on Y&R. Last we saw, he was concerned about his mom Phyllis being missing, and then he kind of evaporated, but now Daniel's back. And next week, he and Tessa are chatting at Crimson Lights. And we have her asking Daniel if there's something he has been wanting to do, but he didn't have the time before. So that's the subject of his conversation with Tessa. And as of right now, Daniel is supposed to be going to work with Billy and Phyllis at the new company, AbbottCom. But with Daniel's mom still kind of recovering from her kidnapping by Martin and having a little bit of PTSD, and Billy dealing with this Dumas and Victor vendetta thing, we may see that Daniel isn't starting to work just yet. So he may have some time on his hands, and that's what he and Tessa are discussing. Because Daniel says he has a thing that he wants to do, but he is gonna need Tessa's help, which sounds very intriguing. And, you know, maybe it involves Sharon or Phyllis somehow, or it could be about something for Lucy, since Daniel said that he and his daughter just aren't talking much about Heather anymore. and it's bothering him. So maybe it's some musical project that's meant to help Lucy and Daniel honor Heather's memory. We'll have to wait and see. It's pretty much wide open since Daniel has almost no storyline of his own anymore, and he has not had one in a while. All right, finally, let's talk about Jack Abbott taken by surprise and having an epic reaction. So you know that all the Abbotts have been crashing over at the GCAC for weeks now while Diane was redoing the mansion. And Jack has had a whole lot of anxiety about this because he worried it would be too drastic or not to his taste. Meanwhile, Diane keeps reassuring him, but Jack really never calmed down much about it. He stayed stressed about it. So the week of April 21st, Diane brings Jack and Kyle home to the Abbott mansion for the big reveal of the hot new renovation she's had done. And if you remember, Traci is in the process of leaving town to be with Ashley in New York City. So it looks like it's going to be just the guys that get to see the big unveiling of the reno that Diane planned, designed, and executed. She is going to make Jack and Kyle close their eyes and leads them into the living room. And once there, Diane says they can open their eyes, and pretty much Jack and Kyle both look shocked. Hopefully, Diane hasn't gone too wild and, tiger print and bold plaids everywhere, something Jack won't approve of. But maybe they're shocked because the changes Diane made are, more subtle than they expected. Maybe it's a pleasant shock. I doubt it, though. I'm sure it's going to take Jack a minute to adjust to whatever Diane has done to the place because Jack doesn't like change, and this is his family home. Bottom line is whatever Diane designed, it's a done deal now. However, she does have good taste. She reminded Jack that she is an architect and she knows what she's doing. So here's hoping Kyle and Jack are pleasantly surprised because they could use some good news with all of the Victor sabotage that's going on at Jabot. If you remember, Diane recently confronted Michael and he didn't commit to sabotaging the sabotage, but he did say he's still Diane's friend and that he's trying to keep Victor under control to some extent. But the big question is where Michael's loyalties truly lie, because after he talked to Diane, Michael mentioned to Victor that Diane confronted him, and then Michael suggested they back off, back down, pull the spies out of Jabot, but we have Victor snapping at Michael by the end of the week and accusing him of caving to Diane, and then Victor just is going to double down. So this war with the Abbotts and Victor is going to escalate as we head into May sweeps, which kicks off Thursday, April 24th. And be sure to check out our full weekly spoilers video tomorrow that'll cover everything happening the week of April 21st through the 25th.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.